Live from the Dr. Jerry Henderson Radio Complex, it's time for Card Guys.
So the Pistons got the Grizzlies, and Desmond Bane dropped 49 on our head, and we lost by a lot of points. However, Desmond Bane's not playing, but Jaren Jackson's going to go off for 30 points and 10 points.
Oh, I forgot about Jaren Jackson.
Trey J.
To the last two seasons. Here he comes with the ball. Here he comes down the lane. Hooks and hits. Almost impossible shot, but he scored it. Wow. 40 for Jaren Jackson Jr. It's 2 seconds for the baseline. Off glass, no. And two dramatic misses by the stars of the game.
And now, here's your host, Anthony Schulte.
Good morning or good afternoon, whenever you may be listening to this program. Thank you, Michael, for the intro as always, and welcome to Card Guys, Detroit Sports Talk, Season 2, Episode 21. As you just saw, the Pistons lost in a heartbreaking fashion. Nothing like starting your morning with a little George Blaha. He was on the call for that thriller between the Pistons and Grizzlies. Boys, we knew what was coming with that trade, with how Trey J played and his performance. We knew exactly what was coming. Coming up today, the Tigers, are still undefeated. The Pistons are not undefeated. The Tigers, however, are still undefeated. Plus, the Red Wings, dare I say, are back. Later in the show, Caitlin Clark and the Iowa Hawkeyes are taking the basketball world by storm, and we make our final four picks. I'm Anthony Schulte. Join me as always, my man, Ryan Donnelly.
Hey, leave a like on this video if you're excited for WrestleMania this weekend. I know I am.
True. It is coming
I am
up
very excited.
Right next to me, Mr. Michael Rosenkranz.
Great to be here on a Wednesday. If I may, really quickly, gentlemen, I just want to do a quick plug back home to Clarkston's lacrosse teams, both boys and girls. Girls had their season opener yesterday, scheduled for yesterday, but got canceled due to rain. They had a practice 7-9 yesterday. But I'm really looking forward to that season, and both of you might have saw on my story yesterday, I did a quick little analysis of the girls' team. I think there's a lot to look forward to, especially with the four captains of this team. You got Riley Mills, Bella Bracilo, Emily Sherman, and Gianna Kratz. I mean, that's four solid leaders on this team. And these girls, they have a chip on their shoulder going into the season, as they're looking to build off a rough year last year when they went 3-13. Then again, it was a first-year head coach in her second year now, but the work that's been put into the offseason, there's a lot to take away from that. Matched up very well against your Lake Orion Dragons in a scrimmage. They play them in just about a week or so on April 12th, which is going to be a lot of fun.
Part of my ignorance, who won the scrimmage?
That was, I believe, Lake Orion won the scrimmage.
Yeah. I wish I knew our fight song. I don't know.
We did match up very, very well, but lots of good stuff to take away from it. Bottom line is, these girls, I think, are going to come in a lot more focused and determined than what last year was. For the boys, they begin tonight against Oxford at our place, and I can't wait. Coach K, in his 19th season for Clarkston, just absolutely incredible what he's done since 2005 to this program. Game for Hope's going to be coming up in May, which I'll come back to announce for that, which is going to be a lot of fun. That's usually an all-day operation, about 12 hours worth of lacrosse games. Get there about 7 o'clock in the morning. First game starts about 7:30, and I ended last year about 7:30. So it'll be 12 hours of lacrosse, but I know a lot of those people there, and to those who may be watching, I miss you guys so much. I cannot wait to come back and PA announce for you guys. I just missed you so much, but I cannot wait for this lacrosse season. Ellis York in his final year for the boys team. He's going to Limestone afterwards. He's been such a thrill to watch all season, and we're returning a lot of key players, and I think it's going to be another year of development for this team because we have a lot of young players on the team. Same for the girls, but one thing I know about these coaches is they will get that done. They are so good at developing these players in and out, and these seasons are going to be magical. I can't wait for them.
So that's a nice little preview right there for Clarkston lacrosse. As you said, you're going to be calling some games, PA. You're going to be doing a lot with them this season, so good luck to you. Good luck to them this season. I kind of started off the show out the gates a little stumbling. I called the Tigers the Pistons, and I mispronounced my last name.
What'd you call yourself?
I think I was like Anthony Schulte, something like that.
Schulte?
I don't know.
I
don't
must
remember.
have missed it because I don't think I heard that.
Oh,
Anthony
I know I
Schultz.
messed it up right when I said it, but I was just going to keep on keeping on. However, starting us off today, a new segment here on Card Guys, a recurring segment every single episode, an idea brought to you by the curious mind of Ryan Donnelly and also the hockey world. 3 stars. So every show, we will select our 3 stars from the sports world in the time between broadcasts. So Ryan, do us the honors and start us off here today with our 3 stars.
Well, to explain what it is, if y'all don't know the 3 stars in hockey, Google it.
To explain, Google.
I'm just kidding, but basically the 3 stars are the 3 best performances of the night. So basically, third star is the third best, second star is the second best, and the first star is obviously the first best. And I wanted to incorporate 3 stars on our show with performances in the sports world. So we decided you could choose baseball, you could choose basketball, you could choose anything. You could do hockey, baseball, basketball. You could do whatever. You could even do I think you could do wrestling or golf or anything.
Yeah.
So my 3 stars for we're obviously testing this out because we have 7 episodes left.
We do.
Of season 2.
Wow, only 7 episodes
7
left.
episodes.
That's
I counted
crazy
yesterday.
to think about.
I counted yesterday. We have 7 episodes left of this show.
Wow.
And we wanted to test this out, see if y'all like it, and I hope y'all like it because I
Comment down below if you do like it. We love to hear feedback about the show.
Because I think we enjoy doing this. And
yeah.
All right, here we go. So my 3rd star for April 3rd, 2024, Carson Kelly, who on Monday against the feeble Mets, he had a 3-run home run to basically lock in the win, and we still remain undefeated. Our 2nd star for me is Devin Booker, who on Monday, if I can pull it up, he had 52 points, 3 rebounds, 1 block. He was on 50% field goal or 50% 3-point percentage, 67% field goal percentage. Dude was a monster on Monday
Good performance for the Michigan guy
against the Pelicans, the Grand Rapids native. And my 1st star, courtesy of Doug Mobley, because he was peer pressuring me to take this player, Michael Trout, who has been on, which is a very respectable pick. The Angels are 3-2 and 2nd in the AL West. I want to highlight though the first game against the Miami Marlins, where he had a 473-foot home run that hit the top of the Marlins statue in left field.
Well, it's not a statue anymore. It's just a bar now.
The Miami Marlins logo, he hit the top of the bar.
I think they called it the facade in left field.
Yes, facade.
Whatever.
By the way, I hate to interrupt you, but I think one of the biggest robberies in sports is when they took out the sculpture from Marlins Park.
Yes, they put it outside, bro.
Absolutely.
I think that's a travesty to our sport.
I agree. That thing is the most beautiful thing, the home run sculpture.
Yes.
Oh, gosh, it's so beautiful. But anyways, I want to highlight the first Miami Marlins game where he had not 1 but 2 home runs at 4 at-bats. Dude's been on a tear as of late. He has 3 home runs. He has 5 hits in a lot of at-bats. So good job, Michael Trout. Go do your thing. That is my 3 stars.
All right, well, I'll throw in my 3 stars here. So you took mine with Carson Kelly. We kind of discussed our 3 stars. He threw a curveball.
I want to be fair. Michael and I originally had the same 3 stars.
That is true. That is
so
true.
I had to switch it around. So
I originally had Carson Kelly as my number 2 star. However, I'm going to change some things just for variety's sake. So as my 3rd star, the man who saved the Red Wings season, Jeff Petrie.
That's respectable.
So that's my 3rd star. He saved the season. Basically, we'll talk more about the Red Wings in a little bit, however. So that's my 3rd star. My 2nd star is Cade Cunningham. Now, Cade Cunningham, in his last 3 games, there's my phone. In his last 3 games, he is averaging, I'm going to pull up the stat here.
Stand by.
All right, he's averaging, in his last 3 games, 33.7 points, 5.7 assists, and 4.3 rebounds.
Get this man some help.
Get him some bleeping help.
And the Cade Cunningham has requested a trade notification in June is going to be the most
It's going to hit like a brick wall.
It's going to be like crashing a car.
Yeah, it's going to be, by the way, R.I.P. Todd.
Rest in peace, Todd.
R.I.P. Todd. His car, by the way, his car.
Still upset.
Car. Yeah, beautiful vehicle there. So my second star is Cade Cunningham. I have to give him his flowers. Got to show him some love. He's doing everything he can right now, and as you saw with those clips earlier to start the show, couldn't get it done at the end of the fourth. He would have been my first star if he would have sent it to OT, but he can't help that his bigs can't get rebounds for 2 minutes to close the game. Cade Cunningham, my second star. My first star, Miss Caitlin Clark. Needs her flowers. Absolutely killer stuff. She's been on a tear. She's taken over the basketball world. I will be a avid watcher of the WNBA this upcoming season. You got Angel Reese. You got Cameron Brink, who is my favorite women's basketball player, and Caitlin Clark. It's going to be pure cinema. It's going to be great hoops. I might get both a Brink and a Clark jersey. Who knows? I'm really excited for all that. Caitlin Clark is electrifying. Just if you haven't watched a game, even highlights of any Iowa game, I suggest the LSU game that just happened. You watch it and you'll be amazed. Her skill and her talent level is through the roof. It's incredible to watch. She's my first star. Michael, over to you.
Just briefly before I get into my stars, I saw a little clip yesterday of Caitlin Clark doing one of her workout routines, and it's so consistent. She goes, I think, 100 shots from three-point range, 100 from mid-range, and
100 from the free throw line.
100
I
from
saw
the
that
free
same
throw
video
line.
yesterday. I was going to bring
She
that
is incredibly consistent. I love Caitlin Clark so much. And
a joy to watch.
I can't wait to see what
Refreshing.
she does in the WNBA.
She's refreshing in our great sport of basketball.
No doubt. My third star, this was a really tough decision because on Monday, a lot happened in the world of sports.
Oh, yeah. A busy day.
Yeah, this is really tough. My third star, we're going to do a repeat here. I'm going to go Caitlin Clark first. I mean, 41 points against LSU. What'd she have? I think 7 or so rebounds. I'm trying to remember the final stat line, but I can't remember it off the top of my head. Ridiculous numbers either way.
Indeed.
And, gentlemen, we got Paige Beckers versus Caitlin Clark coming up in the Final Four.
We're going to talk about the women's Final Four a little bit.
We'll talk about that
later in the
second.
show. Finally talking some women's basketball, but cinema.
That is going to be crazy. Caitlin Clark's my third star. My second star, I'm going to give it to Bryce Harper. Bryce Harper had a 3-home run game. I believe it was also on Monday.
It was
last night. Yesterday. Last night. His second three home run game of his career, I want to say.
One of those was a grand slam.
Yes.
Capped it off with a grand salami.
One of which was a grand slam. Bryce Harper is ridiculous. Even though I do think at times he can be a hothead, and you see those compilations of him getting ejected over and over, but he's a ridiculously good baseball player.
He is.
Even though he may have a temper to him. But Bryce Harper gets my second star. My first star, going back to the world of baseball, it's gotta be Ronel Blanco. Ronel Blanco, 30 years old, used to work at a car wash. And he comes in not even a week into the MLB season and throws the 17th no-hitter in Astros franchise history.
It would have been a perfect game if it wasn't for 2 walks.
He only threw 2 walks. And that's the thing about no-hitters in perfect games. Near impossible.
Yep.
And when I saw that notification that Ronel Blanco was no-hit the Blue Jays through 7, I think was when I first saw it, I think Tigers were still on at the time, but I said, wait a minute, I gotta watch this. Because I don't want to miss a shot at history.
Yeah.
Jose Abreu saved that no-hitter with that second out in the 9th inning. That almost could have busted it up.
Well, it's so hard for a perfect game or a no-hitter nowadays just because of the sheer amount of pure talent and skill. You know, it's kind of like what we talked about on earlier shows about AAU, right? And all the talent from AAU in basketball. finally making it to college, finally making it to the NBA, and you're seeing so much talent all over the place. Same thing with baseball. All the I think it's AAU baseball, all the high-level baseball you play as a kid and the amount of baseball you play as a kid leads into now, and now there's so much talent everywhere.
Exactly.
And you're starting to see it, and it's so hard to even one-hit games are hard to come by. So, pardon me.
Also, I think that no-hitter by Blanco is so special because it was his first career start.
Yeah.
It was just,
Yes,
it was
it
very
was.
special to watch because when I got the notification in the 7th, I was like, who the heck is Ronel Blanco? And
1% of people in fantasy baseball had him rostered.
Really? And they scored a lot of points that day.
Yep.
But it was special to see. I was watching like the last inning through a streaming service, and it was special to watch. It was insanely special to watch. He got a no-hitter, and like especially coming from his background, working at a car wash, and he's 30 years old, making the MLB. It's awesome. This is why sports is so special, and this is why sports is so beautiful, because of moments like this.
No doubt.
It's like I think of like when I think of this moments of like the Ronel Blanco no-hitter, I think of what's his name? Oh gosh. Andre Ingram. I think of like Andre Ingram, where in the second to last game of the Lakers season, like 5 years ago, he had 19 points.
Finally got called up from the G League.
I think of Jeremy Lin's Linsanity run, like 10 plus years ago with the Knicks, where he had that insane 8-game stretch where he just had 30 plus points and became from a nobody to a somebody, got his family out of debt. You know, I think of these special moments where like you look at a player and you first like, who is this guy? And then he blows up, and now everybody knows and loves him, and they can help him with if they're struggling. And that's the beauty of sports.
Indeed.
And that's why I love sports. It helps people.
Beautiful right there. Beautiful message, Ryan. Moving on to our first topic of today. 3 stars is a great. I had a lot of fun with that.
That was
so much fun.
That was a lot of fun. The Tigers, not the Pistons, the Tigers, continue their winning ways with a win on Monday. An extra innings blowout, you could say, against the Mets. Tigers won 5-0. Usually, when you win 5-0, you're out of there in the 9th. It took 10 to end this bad boy with a 5-run rout in the 10th, spearheaded by a Mark Canha 3-run dinger. Get us the pizza.
Carson Kelly.
Who did I say?
Mark Canha.
Mark Canha, of course I did. Mark Canha had a home run earlier in the year. Carson Kelly, my apologies. Guess what, folks?
It's
8 o'clock in the morning.
It's early.
8:21 in the morning.
Oh, man. Not Mark Canha, Carson Kelly. Why did I say Mark Canha? Lord only knows why I said Mark Canha. Carson Kelly hit the 3-run home run. A spirited performance by the Tigers. I think one of the most recognizable things from that game, the bullpen. The bullpen this season's only allowed one run, and it was the De Jong home run.
Paul DeJong, yeah.
Yeah, off Chafin. That's the only run they've given up through 4 games. Impressive stuff. And Reese Olson, after, a couple shaky innings, really put together a quality outing on the bump. And that's what I like to see from a young pitcher like him is you're gonna have a rough couple first innings, right? But you're able to bounce back. It's not getting in your head, right? And he still let up 0 runs. So I was really happy with Reese Olson in this outing as well.
Tigers are rolling. We know that. Reese Olson, I was very scared and to see him start because I didn't really like him last year, but
Really?
he surprised me a ton. I really liked what I saw out of Reese Olson on Monday. I think a thing that I want to mention is defense from both sides, except for the Mets in the 10th inning because the Mets are feebling. And
The Mets are going to Met.
The Mets are going to Met. And defense from both sides was impressive, to say the least, especially from the Tigers because they were able to get the shutout against the Mets. And the Mets fumbled the bag. You saw, I think it was either Jeff McNeil or like Brett Beatty. He fumbled the baseball, and that's what got the rally started. after in like the 10th.
I think it was 2 straight plays where they kind of misfielded it, and then they kind of like looked around. They're like, "There's no play."
Yeah, they still need to work on chemistry. This team is very young. You still got like Brett Beatty, you got Jeff McNeil, you got Puller Pete, you got Lindor, you got Kodai Senga. This team is solid. Just under new management, they like Buck Showalter's gone. This team needs chemistry, and this team lacks chemistry. You spent $1 billion on this team. You have no chemistry. Especially this is the second year with this team. You should at least have a little bit. This last year was a learning year. I mean,
last year was
it was atrocious.
Yeah,
and in the words of Frank the Tank, they're gonna go 0-162.
They're on their way right now.
And at this pace that they're playing, I could see that. I don't see them winning a game in the next month. The Mets are terrible.
Watch the Mets come out tonight if there actually is a game tonight and just hang 6 on our head.
I would not be surprised, but I might have cursed the Tigers. But
look what you did.
I was very surprised that Carson Kelly got a home run.
Yeah,
I was very surprised because he had like 2 last year.
He's been playing some spirited baseball.
Him and Jake Rogers, add Dylan Dingler when he comes up. This might be the best catching unit in baseball, I think, in the next year or so. Jake Rogers, who had a 20-plus home run season last year. Carson Kelly, who's still a very solid young prospect. And then Dingler, who's been tearing it up in AAA. I think in the next 1 or 2 years, that unit, with them 3 switching in and out, might be the best catching unit in baseball because each of them will have rest. Like, you'll have Dingler, and then you'll have Jake Rogers coming up in a couple days, and you'll have Carson Kelly coming up the next day. It's a nice rotation to have. I know you're supposed to have 2, but I think we can make an exception with 3. You could put in Carson Kelly in a DH spot. You could throw
Jake Rogers in
you
a
could
DH
throw
spot,
Jake Rogers in the DH
like what we did
spot.
in the last game.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. This team has a insanely bright future, and that's what I noticed against the Mets on Monday. And you know, we still haven't called up guys like Malloy. We still haven't called up guys like Job. Jackson Job. He's still in our system. Jace Young. And this team, like, still is on fire. And when we call up these guys, we're going to be unstoppable. We're going to be like the Atlanta Braves in like 2 to 3 years.
Wow,
we're going to be on that level, I think. The way that we're playing, I know that we haven't lost a game, and I know we're 5-6 games into the season. I have some high hopes with this Tigers team, and I saw that on Monday.
I think one thing underrated that not a lot of people are talking about is just the impact that A.J. Hinch is having on this team right now. Because you look at when he's bringing in pitchers. He could have kept Reese Olson out there. Reese Olson had a shutout. He took out Reese Olson because he knew the situation, and he's playing good, or he's not playing. He's managing good situational baseball. He's putting in the right pitchers at the right time, which is setting up this bullpen to be so good. Not only that, you're utilizing your bench. You're utilizing every single body you have. We were in a situation where when Javier Baez was kind of grimacing after he hit a foul ball off his body, the broadcast team was like, there's nobody left in the dugout. We used every single body we could, to the point of which an injury was even more concerning because we didn't have anybody off the bench.
Right.
So I think looking at the pitching situations that he's being given. All right, we have a left-hander on the mound. We have 2 righties on the bench, or 2. It's righties against lefties, correct?
I don't know.
See, look
You're
at
saying in terms of what?
In terms of advantage at the plate. This is a boneheaded move.
Well,
I think it's lefties and righties and righties and lefties.
Left-handed pitching versus a right-handed hitter, that's an advantage.
Yes.
And then right-handed pitcher versus left-handed hitter is an advantage.
Because isn't Carpenter left-handed?
Yes.
Carpenter's left-handed hitter.
Because against right-handed pitchers, he never plays.
Yeah.
So, which makes sense, but
A.J. Hinch is utilizing his bench in the right way. Whether we can get it correct or not doesn't matter. He is, right? And I think that's one of the main reasons why we've been playing such good baseball, is because he's putting in guys when he knows he needs to. And most of our roster can play really majority of the positions. We have a lot of good guys that could play a majority of the positions, and we could get really creative with where we put guys and where we play guys. So I think A.J. Hinch is a big factor to this team right now.
I'm glad you brought that point up. The versatility of this team right now is awesome. And the bullpen has really been impressing me too, because you wanted to build up from what happened last year, particularly with some pitchers like Alex Lang, who got deja vu from a walk-off burger bomb in Chicago.
I haven't seen him play since the second White Sox game,
right.
Which is great. Let's keep it that way.
I think A.J. Hinch right now he's managing great baseball. He's aware of what's going on. He knows what happened last year, and he wants to build off of it. And right now, Tigers are on a roll. And I want to get your guys' opinions on this, even though we probably already answered it. We got something, Anthony?
We were correct. Right-handed hitters have a bigger advantage facing lefties and vice versa.
I see.
All right, there it is. I just want to make sure we got that correct before we got the comments saying you're wrong.
Yeah, you're all good.
So continue. I'm sorry.
I want to get your guys' opinion on one thing, even though we sort of briefly touched it. When are not most Detroit fans, I think most Detroit fans are excited about this Tigers team, but there are some people who are not quite convinced yet. When will you be excited, truly excited, about what this Tigers team has been doing? So far, I feel great about this Tigers team.
I'm excited as it's 8:30 a.m. on April 3rd, 2024. I was excited in the preseason, in spring training, when we were raking home runs and we were playing good baseball, 20-9, and I think four ties. 20 wins in spring training is good.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when you have 4 ties, so technically you only had 9 losses. That's good baseball in spring training.
Mm-hmm.
And I was excited back then. I was excited on opening day. I was excited on Monday. I'm excited right now. I am very excited and optimistic about this Tigers team because it looks different than Tigers baseball that we've seen to start the season each of the past 5 years. Mm-hmm. There's a different feeling, a different vibe, a different, just energy each game. Is it the broadcasting tandem of the legendary Jason Benetti and Simo becoming a great color commentator? Is it Johnny Kane slurping down milkshakes and trying food at every ballpark? Is it A.J. Hinch in his adjustments throughout the game? Is it our front office actually adding some pieces during the offseason? I think it's a combination of everything.
Yeah,
everything is coming together. Kind of like what I said on Monday's show. It's all coming together into one straight line. And, man, I'm excited. If you can't tell, I'm excited right now. That's my answer.
Oh, yeah.
I think, speaking of the milkshake, I really this summer want to go down to Chicago and go to either hit them both in one day or just do it 2 separate days. I want to go to a White Sox game just for that milkshake.
Well, I do have some news on that milkshake.
Yes.
So I watched G-Fed, who I'm an avid watcher of. G-Fed.
Oh, I love him. The guy
TikTok.
who goes to every single college stadium.
Yes.
I get a tour because of his of every single stadium because of him. So thank you, G-Fed.
He
Michigan native.
He is. He went to Michigan State.
Yeah,
Yes.
unfortunately.
Oh, my goodness. Anyways, he went to the White Sox Stadium, guaranteed rate field, and he tried the milkshake. And he said that, for one, it's in the corner of the left field concourse. For 2, the line is extremely long. And 3, it is an average chocolate milkshake. He said it's good, but it just tastes like an average chocolate milkshake.
Well, not the way that Jason Benetti has been memed on it. I really want to try it.
Well, maybe Jason Benetti's an avid enjoyer of chocolate milkshakes.
Well, G-Fed maybe.
He said it was good. He rated it an 8 out of 10.
Oh.
But he was like, if you're expecting more than a chocolate milkshake, you'll be disappointed.
Well, I'm going to keep my expectations low. I really want to go to Chicago this summer. Because I want to go back to Wrigley. I went to Wrigley when I was 14 years
I want to
old.
go to Wrigley too, man.
Dude,
Wrigley's beautiful. I went to Chicago twice in 2016, 2019. 2016, I believe, was the year that we went to Guaranteed Rate Field. And apologize to go on a little side tangent here, but it was so hot that day. And for my family that may be watching or listening right now, you can certainly attest to this. It was, I kid you not, it was like 95 degrees that day. Our seats were full-fledged in the sun near left center field. And it easily felt like 100-plus degrees in those seats. We stuck it out, surprisingly, for about 7 innings. Then after that, we were just like, okay, this is just way too hot. We tried to wait in a long line just to get like this lemon ice concoction. And lines were extremely long, go figure, because it was scorching that day. But we eventually left about, and I think it was either the top or the bottom of the 7th inning. And that was when Jared Saltalamacchi had tied it up with a home run. So you're just like, gosh darn it.
But it's the same way at Comerica Park, though. Left center field and left field, you're sitting directly in the sun.
You are.
And, like, that's what you don't get a scoreboard view and you're sitting directly in the sun. Who sits in left field?
No, left field is terrible. It's feeble.
Maybe during a night game it gets pretty nice.
Yeah.
But during a day game where it's hot, the sun's beating down,
no way.
Right field is the way to go because
it is.
You get more balls. The players are right there, and you get a scoreboard view. Especially,
I got 2 balls last time we went to a game.
Nice.
Miggy's last game?
Oh, not Miggy's last game. Against the White Sox, ironically.
Okay. I was gonna say, like, I remember when we went to the last game that you and I went to was together, and we each got no balls.
You know, I got 2 balls. I have a picture with both the balls. I got 2 of them in batting practice.
I got 1 from Comerica Park last year when I went to see the Tigers play the Angels when it was Shohei Ohtani on the hill. And that
What game was that? Was it a Tuesday?
No, I don't think
Because me and Isaac, we went to the Tuesday game against Shohei.
Well, wasn't it a doubleheader where
it was the
where
game,
he pitched and then he hit 2 home runs right after?
No, it wasn't that one.
It was last season, right?
Yes, it was last season. It was the one where Riley Green came up in his first at-bat against Shohei and hit a dinger to right center field.
Yeah, I don't think he hit a home run.
That was when Ohtani actually came out early due to a stomach bug, so he wasn't prime Shohei, but I got a ball from Victor Reyes the hard way, we shall say.
Do tell.
If I may, I don't want to be too suggestive here, but Victor Reyes, when the Tigers were heading back into the dugout, getting ready to take the field in the top of the first, Victor Reyes threw a ball over the netting to a particular fan in particular, and I was talking to my dad, just hanging out with him and having a good time. All of a sudden, thud, baseball drops right in my lap, and quite honestly, not in a good spot either, I shall say. And
yeah, I could feel that.
It hurt so freaking bad. My dad was busting a gut, go figure, but I'm just like, Dad, you don't understand. That hurts so bad.
You're in pain in that moment. Your dad's laughing
I'm
at you.
I'm in utter pain in that moment.
I'm sure other people saw that and they're like,
It was. I legit had people checking up on me. I'm just like, I'm okay. I think I'm okay. And then this one guy behind me goes, "Oh, sorry, man. He was trying to throw it to me." But I'm just like, what? If he was throwing it to you, how did it land in my lap? And he's just like, you can keep it if you want to. I'm just like, I appreciate
souvenir,
that.
a little gift of remembrance.
Yes, and moment. I got it the hard way. But I apologize for going on a little tangent.
No, you're good.
But anyways, going back,
I think that's just a fun story.
Yeah, I went to Wrigley Field. I don't remember the year, but I was like 14 or 15 years old, and it was Cubs Braves. And I had a Braves shirt because my shout out Kaylee and Scott Custins, my aunt and uncle. They live down in Atlanta, Georgia. See ya this weekend because they're coming up for Tigers opening day. They took a spring break trip to Chicago. They were supposed to go to the White Sox Tigers game, but the weather was bad and they wanted to take. They have 3 little girls and they wanted to take them all around Chicago. So they're coming up either like today or tomorrow to go to the the Tigers athletics game on Friday, and I'm going to see them. So I can't wait to see you guys. But Yeah, I went there. The Braves won like 3-1 or 5-3 or something like that. I remember Chris Bryant hitting a home run. The 7th inning stretch at Wrigley Field is probably one of my favorite moments in my life. It was beautiful. The head coach of Northwestern basketball, I don't remember his name at the time. I think he got fired, but he's
Is it Chris Collins?
Yes.
No, Chris Collins I think is still coaching.
Chris Collins saying the 7th inning. Now I remember it was Chris Collins. I have a video of it. I have it on my Instagram, but I remember him singing the 7th inning stretch. It was the most electric. Wrigley Field is the most electric field in all of baseball. I want to go back this summer, root for the Cubs, or if they're playing the Tigers, root for the Tigers. You know, I love Chicago. I haven't been to Chicago in years. I have family that lives in Chicago, and I just want to go back. Anyways, the question about Michael's question, I'm really excited now, but I want to wait until June.
You want to wait until
I want to wait until June, because June, we all know, last year we lost 9 straight. Our hitters averaged 2.1 runs with .176, .247, .291 slash line. Horrible. Historically we were the worst hitting teams of all time in June. I want to see them prove it, and then as excited as I am now, in no point am I excited about this team. I am pumped about this team. Just got to prove it in June.
And I wholeheartedly agree with you, Ryan. I am thrilled about this team. But yes, there comes a point where you have to prove yourself. And MLB seasons, they can turn in a hurry.
There's so many games.
Exactly. With 162 games, there's plenty of room for error in the season. So the Tigers, yes, I am thrilled, but they do have to prove themselves going forward if they want to, retain my excitement. But
Indeed.
Tigers got the Mets again tonight. Casey Mize coming back on the bump for
Hopefully
the
there's
first
a game.
time since Tommy John. Hopefully there's a game.
It doesn't look too promising, and there's already it's probably going to turn into a doubleheader tomorrow, which now opening day is on the second day, coming home from a little doubleheader.
Yeah, we're playing the A's, so I'm not that worried.
I mean, still, in the MLB, you play a doubleheader, then have a game right after. Who knows what can happen?
Checking the forecast for today in Queens, New York, there is a high wind warning, plus 5 more warnings. Do I dare click this red button here that says high wind warning? So it's going in from Wednesday this morning at 11 until Thursday morning at 6. So taking a look just at brief weather plug here, there's a very high chance of rain. So I agree with you, Anthony. It's not looking too promising again either. Like, rain has been
a triple header
has been just
we don't play Thursday,
drenching the East
It'll
Coast lately. So I wouldn't be surprised if this game might be postponed again. But
which that'll kind of suck 2 days without Tigers baseball, but a doubleheader on Thursday could follow suit before opening day on Friday at Comerica Park with that brand new scoreboard out in left field. It'll be cool to see.
I think my goal before the end of the school year is to see a game.
Indeed, so is mine.
there is that CMU night in August.
I already have my ticket. I'm going.
I am still looking to get tickets for that,
I am
but
as well.
but I don't want to miss that game because I've been wanting to get back to the ballpark as well. Plus, that co-branded quarter zip is sweet.
It is. And you're wearing a quarter zip right now, so obviously you're a fan of quarter zips.
This kind of all stems back home, especially at Clarkston, too, because when I would broadcast back home at ITV, shout out you guys, I would wear hoodies inside the gymnasium, and we broadcast with lav mics. And lav mics, they work, but they do have their issues. So I would have to put the lav mic on the little string, the 2 strings that the hoodie has, and just kind of hold it up like this. So I've been using quarter zips just to attach the lav mic, and it's worked a lot better.
There it is.
I saw you wore a quarter zip in your Clarkston statistics video yesterday.
I did, yes. I wore another quarter zip
Because I just
yesterday
realized
in my
I was
little
like,
analysis
oh,
video.
Michael was wearing his little quarter zip.
I think you need to get a Pistons quarter zip.
My
You
dad
know,
has a Pistons
I had
quarter
the
zip.
shot to when it was CMU night, I think last year. Or was that a crew neck?
This year was
This year was a crew neck. I think last year was a quarter zip.
Shoot. Yeah, I missed the opportunity at a quarter zip. Well, if it comes back, I may have to redeem myself with that one.
All right. Well, the Tigers are scheduled to play. Doesn't know. I'm not too sure they are going to play. Who knows? But Tigers scheduled to play tonight against the Mets. The now second game of the series. Casey Mize is set to pitch for the first time in a couple years tonight. He's scheduled to. It will most likely be tomorrow, however. Moving on to the Red Wings.
Oh.
Dare I say the Red Wings are back. They earned crucial points against the Lightning on Monday on the road. As I said, Jeff Petrie saved the season, slapping the puck away from the net. David Perron, clutch goal. Clutch goal. Lucas Raymond, I think, had the empty netter.
He did, yes.
So Lucas Raymond had the empty netter to really seal things there for the Red Wings 4-2. They have a little bit of time off. They don't play till Friday. They haven't played since Monday. So they have a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 3 days off in between games, which is kind of rare to see in an 82-game season. However, the Red Wings hopefully can take full advantage and really prepare for this game against the Rangers because it's not going to be easy.
Nope. The strength of schedule for this Red Wings team has been brutal.
Indeed.
We have the Rangers on Friday, Sabres, I believe, Sunday, which I think we can beat Buffalo. That just comes down to if we don't fall flat on our faces
I have
again.
the schedule pull up right here.
And then I believe,
You got Washington on Tuesday.
yeah, Washington again on Tuesday, which
And
hopefully
then
we can
we
beat
go-
them again.
I think this is the game that I'm very scared about. Toronto at Toronto next Saturday.
Yeah.
That Toronto is a very scary place to play at, no matter what. Raptors or Maple Leafs, horrifying place to play at.
Loyal fans as well.
The most loyal, I think, Toronto and Canadian sports teams. Like I'm talking Montreal, I'm talking Calgary, I'm talking Ottawa, I'm talking Toronto. Loyal.
Edmonton.
Vancouver. Loyal. Very, very loyal.
Yeah. Currently looking at the wild card standings, Tampa Bay Lightning still hold the first wild card spot. They are stuck at 89 points after the Red Wings defeated them 4-2.
There it is.
Capitals are in the second wild card spot with 82. Red Wings are not in the wild card spot. They're one behind the Capitals, but they are tied at 82 points. If
I did it the wrong way.
we had a little kerfuffle here on the mic.
I did it the wrong way. I was
Wait.
trying to tighten it. Can
Wait a
someone hold
second.
this? Can someone hold this?
Have to-
Can you hold this?
Hang in there, baby.
Michael, can you hold this? Hey,
I'm
just
gonna
hold
have
that
to-
like that.
hold this up top for a second.
Hold that, please. Don't just hold it. No, just hold it. There you go.
Anyways, while they're fixing it,
While we're fixing...
I can
me
hold
trying to
this and
tighten
still
this.
give my take here.
Yeah.
The Red Wings need to get these 2 points against the Rangers. It's not going to be
Alright, we're
easy because the Rangers are on a tear.
Yeah, we're good. All right. We averted a crisis there.
And the thing that motivated me about this game, for some reason, we play, and to your point, Anthony, which you mentioned earlier, we play Tampa Bay extremely well. Like, that's one of the teams that we can match up with. And, just play very well against them. And started off not too bad, even though Tampa Bay, after 2 goals that were called back by the same guy, Anthony Schulte, that third goal, when he just ripped it off the post, I was literally just laughing to myself, but I was just like, oh my gosh.
He was bound to score at
I
some
said
point.
Anthony Schulte just said, I've had enough of these goals being called back, and he just ripped one.
Yep.
And then it was so funny. I was talking to my dad yesterday, and he's just like, dude, I can't even tell you the stuff I was saying when Stamkos scored. And that's the funniest thing, because my dad hates Steven Stamkos. And He's a solid player, though. Stamkos
Indeed,
has
yes.
always been a very, very solid player. Red Wings, huge win against the Lightning,
Indeed.
and they've got to continue it against the Rangers. And if you can carry this momentum back home and go on a little win streak, beating the Rangers, beating the Sabres, and potentially the Capitals, those could be all huge games to go on a winning streak on.
Agreed.
Rangers are going to be tough, though.
Having that home ice advantage or home whatever, the home field advantage, is going to help so much, especially against the Capitals, where right now we are tied for the second wild card spot with Washington. We need to win that game. It's that. I know we've said this a lot in the past couple shows, but that might be game of the season. Like we said that with the last Washington game. We
Every
said that,
game is the game of the
we
season.
said that
it feels
against the
like.
Islanders.
Yeah.
And every time we say, oh, game of the year, they either get a point or win.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
Game of the year.
I think we could win. We could. And taking a look at the rest of the schedule, we have 7 games left. Gotta go 4-3 in the last 7.
It's possible.
I could see us win against Buffalo. I could see us beat Capitals. I could see us probably sweep the Montreal Canadiens.
It's 4 wins right there.
I'm a little confident. That Lightning game brought my hopes up a little bit. However, we are playing the possible President's Trophy winner, New York Rangers. I'm a little scared for that game, and hopefully that doesn't derail our season.
Hopefully it doesn't. Rangers, Red Wings at LCA on Friday, right?
Yes.
Yes.
At LCA on Friday. It'll be a good game. The Red Wings coming off a 4-2 win in Tampa Bay. Moving on to the NCAA tournament. Starting on the women's side of things, Caitlin Clark and Iowa cruising into the Final Four. So we've got 2 matchups here. We've got Iowa, UConn, Clark, Beckers versus South Carolina and NC State. NC State and UConn have both men's and women's teams in the Final Four. Something great to see there. Let's go through both of these games for the women, shall we? Let's start with the elephant in the room, Caitlin Clark in Iowa, taking on Paige Beckers and UConn. I've seen people across Twitter calling Caitlin Clark Hermathy instead of Himothy. Hermathy.
Sounds like Kermit.
Hermathy. Is that a Kermit impression? Hermathy.
That's
funny.
just the voice I hear in my head every time they say Hermathy.
Hermathy. I read Hermathy all over Twitter or X now, if that's what you want to call it. Whatever you consider that app where you send tweets. Or what are they called? Posts now? Look at it.
Right. Where are we?
What's happened to our Twitter?
What this 2024 messed up social media?
Big 2024. So Iowa and UConn, Hermathy versus Hermathy, according to Twitter. Who do you guys got? Because I know who I want to win.
Iowa. Iowa's going to roll. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry. Like, Iowa, Caitlin Clark, come on.
One thing I noticed in the LSU game, it's not just Caitlin Clark. Everybody else on that team can make shots.
Yes.
And it's something I noticed. It's like I was watching the highlights last night again, and I was like, these women can make some shots. Like it's not just Caitlin Clark. It's not just the Caitlin Clark show. You have everybody on that team stepping up when they need to make a shot, which I think is big. That's why I think Iowa is going to win the national championship. South Carolina is a heck of a team. But yeah. I just think Caitlin Clark, with this momentum and everybody rooting for her, I think Iowa's got the national championship in itself. But who do you have? South Carolina, NC State, Ryan?
Honestly, South Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
South Carolina, I know for years. Shout out one of my favorite women's athletes, Enrique Ndumbawale. One fun name to say.
Is that how you pronounce it?
Enrique Ndumbawale. She's a very fun player to watch, and she's a very fun name to say. Mm-hmm. She played for South Carolina. They won the national championship 2019. they know how to win in the national championship. They had really good players to come out of that program. They have a really nice coaching staff. I think South Carolina and Iowa are going to feed families, and I'm so excited if possible.
So you got South Carolina.
South Carolina, Iowa.
Michael. I was about to say Iowa, and I was going to say Michael, Iowa versus UConn. Micah. Hi, Micah. How you doing?
Hi, I'm doing good. How you doing?
All right, Michael. Iowa and UConn. Who do you got?
I got to go Iowa here. I mean, to your point, it's not Caitlin Clark. It's players like Kate Martin. She had 21. Sydney Falter. She had 16. Multiple players can do wonders for this Iowa team.
They deserve their flowers as well.
They do deserve their flowers.
Give Kate Martin her flowers. She's going to be the next best Iowa prospect after Caitlin Clark this year.
No doubt. And this may be a hot take. Iowa women's basketball is America's team right now.
Indeed.
Yes, agreed. 100%.
They are America's team right now. I love this Iowa team. Coach Lisa Bluter is incredible. She trusts her players. She believes in her players. And it's putting up Hall of Fame results right now.
It is. The numbers that these games are pulling right now, incredible.
Incredible
Stuff.
How can you beat 41, 7 rebounds, and 12 assists from Caitlin
And it's not
Clark?
just the 41.
No.
Look at the shots she's taking.
I
They're
know,
side
right?
steps.
Taking deep step-back threes from mid-court.
They're just sidestep, effortless threes. And
Her
they're just going in. It's
sidestep
like,
three is the most unstoppable thing in sports right now.
And you know what I saw the NBA's trying to do? Steph's versus Sabrina again. And then they're trying to get Clay versus Caitlin.
Oh, my God. Caitlin Clark's winning by 1,000.
But it's the All-Star game's in the Bay Area. So it's the two Warriors Splash Brothers versus Sabrina and Caitlin Clark.
I
want to see that happen.
I want to see that.
I
so
want to
much
see
fun.
that happen.
That'd be so much fun. So you have Iowa and South Carolina, NC State, Michael.
This is a tough one. Both very, very respectable teams.
Yes.
I got to go with my gut. I got to go with South Carolina.
Yeah.
I mean, they are another incredible team, and I just don't really see. Maybe I'll be wrong. I might be proved wrong, but I just don't know if I see NC State getting past South Carolina. I think this is where their tournament run will end, but nonetheless a heck of a season. But I may get proven wrong, which I have many times before. But I got Iowa, South Carolina. It's going to be the battle of the 1 seeds.
I might agree. See, now this is where I am. I think the best game of the Final Four in both men's and women's will be Iowa-UConn. You've got heavy star power on each side. You've got great complementary teams, great coaching to support those superstars. I think it's going to be a very close game. It's going to come down to the final possession. Caitlin Clark's going to hit a buzzer beater to win. I'm calling that right now.
Wow.
I'm calling it.
I think Iowa's going to win by 6.
I think it's going to be that close. These two teams are so talented. I have Iowa, and then I won't be surprised at an NC State upset. That's the one upset that I can really be confident in the Final Four. But South Carolina have been incredible this year. They've been playing great basketball. So I'm going to go Iowa, South Carolina as well. But my little twist is that I think Iowa's going to make it on a buzzer beater from Caitlin Clark. That's going to be one of those sidestep patented threes at the buzzer. It'll be something special. I can't wait for those.
Card guys, word of the day, patented.
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 Look at that. Look at that. All right, moving on to the men's Final Four real quick before we sign off. We've got UConn and Alabama. We've got Purdue and NC State, a 1 versus 4 and a 1 versus 11. Ryan, who do you have?
UConn.
You got UConn?
UConn's going to steamroll through both.
Oh, you got UConn win the whole thing.
I got you. Oh, we're talking just this game?
I was just talking these two specific games.
UConn.
Yep.
I think UConn's going to destroy Alabama, and I think Purdue's going to absolutely whoop NC State. DJ Burns and Zach Edey. The paint battle is going to be feed families. Mm-hmm. And I wouldn't be surprised if an NC State upset. Not 100% opposed to that, but Zach Edey has been dominant this whole tournament, And DJ Burns has also been dominant in this tournament. I think Zach Edey, because of his height, I think he'll come out on top. And then with Purdue, UConn, I think that'll be game of the year. I think UConn will win.
So you've got UConn, Purdue, UConn.
Mm-hmm.
Michael.
UConn, Alabama, got to go UConn. UConn has been destroying everybody. And I was over at my grandma's for Easter on Saturday, actually. We had a gathering on Saturday. And we were watching the 30-0 scoring run that UConn was putting on. Was it Tennessee or Illinois? Illinois. I can't remember. It was one of the teams that
Tennessee
had
played
orange
NC
in their
State.
color. Yes, Tennessee did play NC State, but a 30-0 run against Illinois, how does that happen?
Illinois is a talented team, too.
They are a very talented team. And that's the thing about this UConn team. You cannot let that happen. If you're Alabama, you cannot let that happen. If that happens and they go even on a little run, cut that in half. You're in a lot of trouble.
In a lot of trouble.
UConn has been rolling this whole tournament. They've been playing like a true number one seed, and they've been destroying everybody. I got UConn for this game, and Purdue versus NC State. Give me Purdue. Zach Edey's got the height over DJ Burns. It is going to be a great matchup down low. Again, to your point, Ryan, Zach Edey's got more height on DJ Burns, and I think Zach Edey will continue to dominate down low and dominate all season like he's been. And it's crazy for Purdue how 1 year ago they lost to FDU as a 16 seed. And 1 year later, they're in the Final Four. Crazy how 1 year passes and how much can change.
With a significant chance to make it to the national championship.
They have a legit chance to make it to the national championship. Again, this is going to be a battle of the number one seeds, I feel like. And the thing about DJ Burns, have you guys been reading that legit NFL scouts are showing interest in him?
I did read about that.
Does he play football for NC State, too? Or are they just interested in the sheer size?
I'm not sure if he plays football, but I wouldn't be surprised if they'd be interested just in the sheer size of him. I mean,
athleticism.
DJ Burns is 6'9", 275.
Yeah.
I mean, what more can you want from somebody like that? Could we see DJ Burns if he potentially chooses a career in football? You think we could see him on the O-line somewhere?
Perchance.
Yes.
That would be crazy, but time will tell, but I think this is going to be a battle of the number one seeds.
So you got UConn, Purdue in your national championship. Quick, who's your winner of the Natty?
Oh, UConn. Mm-hmm. UConn.
All right, so you got UConn. I got UConn, and upset alert, NC State's going to beat Purdue. I think NC State's got a better supporting cast than Purdue does. And I like they've been on fire. They beat UNC. I think UNC's better than Purdue, and they beat UNC. So if they could stand the test of time, I got NC State and UConn, and then UConn winning by double digits in the national championship. Sadly, that's all we have.
I do have one point
What's your
to
point?
bring up, and I feel like not a lot of people are noticing this, but we are in the mecca of women's sports, of women's basketball, and I feel like everybody's just thinking Caitlin Clark. People aren't realizing about guys or girls like Paige Beckers, Aja Wilson. I'm talking WNBA, and I'm talking college hoops. We're talking
Ionescu.
We're talking Sabrina Ionescu. We're talking Cameron Brink. We're talking Skylar Page from the Dallas Wings. We're talking Sabrina Ionescu was and still is my favorite women's athlete on the planet. Candace Parker. I think she's still playing, right?
Yes.
You're thinking Juju Watkins. You're thinking Angel Reese. We are in the mecca of women's sports, and I want you to watch the WNBA season this year.
It's going to be so much fun.
Because for the first time,
So fun.
for the first time ever, I will be watching the Indiana Fever. They are my team because of Caitlin Clark. I will be buying an Indiana Fever jersey.
See, now, my thing with WNBA is I had a favorite team. The Detroit Shock. Bring back the Shock.
Bring back Detroit. Bring back a Detroit WNBA team. I don't care if you name it like the Champions.
Bring back the Shock. I think what needs to happen. So this is what happened with the Shock. The Shock went to Tulsa, became the Tulsa Shock. The Tulsa Shock moved to Dallas, and they became the Dallas Wings. And they still have our championships in their rafters. I am positive they are.
I thought the Shock are the Las Vegas Aces.
No,
They're the Wings.
They're the Wings. So I want either to get an expansion team in the WNBA, and I want our championships back with the Detroit Shock name, or move the Wings back to Detroit, change the name to the Shock, and we retain our championships that way. I want Detroit Shock basketball back, personally.
Are you going to be watching every single game like the Pistons?
Yes. One of my favorite women's basketball player of all time, Cheryl Ford. I have her bobblehead from her 2003 Rookie of the Year holding the trophy.
Very nice.
Cheryl Ford is my favorite women's basketball
That's
player.
understandable because the WNBA doesn't play on like an every other day basis. They play like once or twice a week.
Yeah. And I think, and to your point, quickly before we head off here, we're approaching an hour on our program. I tweeted this out yesterday. What people are doing right now on social media and what people are doing right now in the media isn't fair to either men's or women's basketball. They're devaluing the other for the sake of their own. And I think on both ends, on the men's and women's end, we just need to appreciate sports. It's not a men's or women's thing, even though it's great to see what the women are finally doing and that they're finally getting the recognition they deserve. It's not a compare in politics thing. Just enjoy sports. Just appreciate what we have right now. Instead of turning it into a political debate and turning it into a man versus woman thing, just appreciate sports and what these individuals are providing us every single night, the entertainment they're providing us. And look at it from a sports perspective, even though it is great what the women are doing and the numbers they're finally getting, because they deserve it 100%.
Absolutely. One more quick point. I saw a little clip from Dave Portnoy, of course, Barstool president.
Stool Presidente.
Miss Peaches.
Stool Presidente.
Miss Peaches the dog.
As much as I think he's a clown at times, I appreciate what he said about, he says, I'm getting on the flight back from the Iowa women's basketball game, and I've had people message me saying, oh, you're a Michigan man. Why are you going to an Iowa game? And what Dave Portnoy said, I wholeheartedly agree with, and it comes to both of your points. He said, I hunt for greatness.
Yes.
It doesn't matter the gender. It doesn't matter the sport. Portnoy hunts for greatness. And at this point, appreciate greatness, regardless of gender. It doesn't have to be one or the other dominating another, Just appreciate both men's and women's sports.
I think,
and the resurgence of women's sports right now is incredible.
It is.
I think one example is Enrique Ndumbawale, a person that I brought up. She played for South Carolina. She had not one but two clutch buzzer beaters, one in the Final Four and one in the national championship to beat UConn, and I think the other one is against like Oregon or something. She got so much recognition. One of them was from Kobe Bryant. Rest in peace. But
a huge advocate for women's basketball.
Huge advocate for women's basketball. He was like a funder. He was like a treasurer for the WNBA. He funds the WNBA. And he gave the recognition for Enrique Ndumbawale, and it was very cool to see.
Yeah.
A lot of people forget about the Enrique Ndumbawale 2 buzzer beaters. I will never forget that because it was incredible to see the recognition that she got from after the 2 shots. And she's a heck of a player. She's tearing it up in the WNBA. I think people have to, like you mentioned, it's sports. And like I mentioned earlier in the show, it's a beautiful thing. I believe sports is art.
Agreed.
And sports, no matter if it's sports entertainment, which I like to enjoy, like UFC, WWE, AEW, like that's the stuff I like too. Anything that has the word sport under it, no matter if it's not even a sport or not, like if it's international cheese rolling, it's beautiful. Cheese rolling is an actual sport.
That's a sport?
Yes.
All right.
They roll a cheese down a hill, and it's like raining, and then people run down and they fall. Anyways, sports are just a beautiful thing.
Yes.
Even if you make it up, sport is awesome. And that's why I love it. It's the art of competition.
It is.
Mm-hmm.
Competition is an art.
Well, we appreciate you guys for hanging around a little bit extra for that little conversation we had right there. We did kind of run over the hour mark, but it was worth it. It was a great conversation. That's all we have for today's show. Actually, this time. That's what we have for today's show.
April Fools. Our next segment.
Thank you for tuning in to Card Guys Season 2, Episode 21 on 101.1 The Beat, YouTube, and wherever you get your podcasts. Tune in Monday as we discuss some more NCAA tournament action and update you on the Detroit sports landscape. Did the Red Wings win? Are the Tigers still undefeated? How did the series go against the Athletics? Did the Pistons win a game? You'll find out on Monday with us here at Card Guys. For my good buddies, Ryan Donnelly and Michael Rosenkranz, I'm Anthony Schulte. So long, everybody.
Love you, Mom and Dad. See you tomorrow. And Kayla and Uncle Scott. I will also probably see you this weekend.